already this morning. Welcome. Here are all my friends. There's Diane and Leslie and Loretta, Dawn, Barbara, and Jeanette. Good morning. A lot of really, oh, Barbara W. Because I think there's another Barbara as well. So, good morning. A lot of people are getting ready for going back to school, or sort of the end of the summer, which is what we're kind of doing. Hi, Ardeen. And we are going to be doing a really cool sign today as part of our freebies week. All week we've been doing freebies. And so today is no exception. I just wanted, if you haven't already and you're watching, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, would you be so kind as to click the subscribe button and the little bell thing, so that way you'll get notified when I go live. And it also does help me as I continue to reach for new heights in YouTube history. Anyway, so it is Thursday. We've had a big, huge morning here, and now everybody's gone, and we can just craft, which is really cool. And so that's what we're gonna do. So it's Freebies Week, and what that means is we're looking at designers outside of Design Space. Now, some of the designers now may be in Design Space, which I think is the case for this one, which is Craft with Sarah. Craftwithsarah.com is Sarah is a woman who lives in the UK, and she started off with all kinds of free SVGs, and then she opened up an SVG shop. So the free SVGs are to sort of introduce you to her and her craft. And she really particularly likes to do things that are oversized, and also like that sort of mandala effect, or the layered effect, with kind of like what we did yesterday, but a little more free range. The ones we did yesterday, that my 3D SVG, are square, and hers are not necessarily in a square. So I just thought I would, sort of show you her take on some of this. So today, we're going to be working on a free SVG from Craft with Sarah. It is a giant fall sign, and there are a few things that I want to go over with you. So I'm just going to jump right on in. Before I get there, though, I wanted to just let you know that tomorrow, being Friday, we normally do either joy or freebies on Friday, but I want to stick with the freebie for tomorrow, and I want to show you another woman that I really, really like. She goes by the name of Birds, and you can find her at birdscards.com. We've done a few things from her in the past, and I just really love her. She's so gentle and kind, and very giving as well, and has a lot of wonderful SVGs. You do have to sort of sift through the SVGs, because she doesn't keep them updated too well, because she's actually also working on some other projects now. But I've talked to her, and she's really terrific, and we're going to do one of her cards for tomorrow. Okay, so today's Craft with Sarah. So let's jump in. So if you aren't aware, if this is your first introduction to Sarah, you do need to sort of register, and once you register, you can log in and get all of her SVGs in her SVG library. She does indeed sell her SVGs as well. So do know that there are two different things there. So register, and basically you register, you put your name in here, and with an email, and then answer the questions. She'll send you the newsletter, and then you go and use that link, and you can come back and check out all the free SVGs. So that's what we're going to look at today, is a free SVGs. But but do note that Sarah is very prolific and she has a ton of SVGs. Some of them are free, some of them are paid, but they're very well, nicely priced. So if you see something you like, in particular, I really like her dog ones. I think about the corgi one because I just really like corgis. So, because I just love so many corgis. So anyway, this is the freebie. This is the free section. There's so many things to pick up here, and I want to do them all. I want to do them all, right? I saw these two cards and I did download those, and then I did see a number of fall things. This wreath. And then there's this sign. That's the one we're going to do today. And we've also done this Halloween sign. We've done an Easter sign and I think it was a Christmas sign. But she keeps adding to this. So if you like huskies, you could do the husky dog shadow boxes. There's everything here. Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Diwali, the nativity. That's a nativity. It's a little dark actually for the nativity, but look at how beautiful. So what we're going to do is after you sign in, and you do the whole newsletter thing, you would go to this image. This is the one we're going to work on, this giant fall autumn. Hey, thank you. Okay, now you see under each one of these has you do a login to download. So I would log in and I would type in, now I already have saved that or bookmarked my login. So I just have to log in. I hope it's doing it. Yes, it is. And then you'll see that you'll be presented with like all of her SVGs. Then she also has something called Craft Clubhouse. She does a lot of collaboration with other vendors as well. So you can go around here and search around. She's got a lot of stuff, but we're going to hit up the free SVG area. And once we're here, we can scroll down and find the image that we're going to do. All right, Mr. Benjamin, relax, relax. So here it is, this free layered SVG. Now you can hit download, which is what I'm going to do. And you'll notice it goes, showing that it's going download. But if you wanted to, like after this class, if you were like, I really want to see this again, she has a tutorial and the tutorial is very nice. It's a video tutorial and it explains start to finish how to make this sign. Okay. The other thing that's part of this download, let's go over here, is let me just go to my downloads file and I'm looking for that download that I got. That was yesterday's. Okay. So it's called Fall Sign Craft with Sarah. I believe that's it. And you'll see there's the SVG that we're going to bring into Design Space. He wants a cookie. Hold on a second. I'll give him a cookie. Yes, I totally agree with you, Loretta. Oh my gosh. So when I first started doing this, I think we were going to do it on Tuesday. And there are so many pieces to this sign that there are a couple of tips I want to give you. So first of all, the first tip is, in the file there is an assembly guide. And if you don't actually print it out, at least have it open and it will explain step by step on how you're going to do it. The other thing, so this is the assembly guide, okay? I'm just going to minimize this real quick. And then the other thing that you need to worry about when you're doing this project is putting all the pieces together. So you see here, what I have done is I've taken and separated all the pieces. I did add this autumn blessings. I'm going to show you how to do that in a sec. But all these pieces were on here. And in fact, let me just show you. Let's just move these up and let's go to our upload, because that's what I did. I uploaded it. And where is it? View all. here it is, okay? And I'm going to add it to the canvas so you can see. So it comes all in one giant thing. It's one giant thing. So the first thing that I did was, I'm like, all right, I'll just cut everything out and I'll sort it all out afterwards. Probably not the best idea. So looking back on it, what I did was I separated out all these flowers, and there's actually 5 different types of of the 3D effect flowers. And then what you get is the base. So I would, if I were you, I would just focus first on the base. So separate these all out and just sort of group them and hide them for now. We're going to get rid of this one. So let's have a look at the base itself. So I'm going to ungroup it. So the base is, these are just actually little extra pieces. The base is consistent with when she does these large signs, she put these little notches here, and you see these notches and they sort of coordinate. So what we're going to do is take all 4 of these pieces of our base and line them up with those notches. That's the first thing that we're going to do. Then we're going to find our white pieces that we've already cut out, and we're going to place that in there. This is all going to be glued at first. And then these are also sort of like, I don't know what you call them, like the around the box. Okay, so that's what we're going to do first. So that's how I'm tackling this project. So let's do that first. Okay, have I considered using the 12 by 12 mat and paper for the background? I had not, Loretta, I had not, but it's a good idea if you wanted to go ahead and meld these pieces that we just looked at together. You could do that if you have a 12 by 24 inch paper. That's one of the things about this file, is that there's a lot of different colors of yellow and orange. So I really had to do a lot of digging for all my pieces. So I'm going to move this aside, and I'm just going to show you, these are the base pieces that we're going to work on first. So here are the 4 base pieces, and there are the notches. Some of them didn't come out, but there are these notches here. And looking at the assembly, you can see there's these 4. So this one here, it has this here. And then the next one has this orange, like sort of the flower up here. And then the next one is this and this. Okay. So let's get our glue. I'm going to use this glue today. So what you're going to want to do is definitely line up these notches right here. And then you'll see how it's like sort of cuts this one in half like this. And we only have like maybe about an inch here. So let's go ahead and put our glue. I'm going to put it on on that piece first. Okay. And then again, line up here. Make sure you're lining it up properly. Am I lining this up properly? Sometimes sometimes, oh, I am not. All right, sorry. I had it upside down. Okay. So there's the first piece. And see how it's lining up here? So you have to make sure that it's really kind of lining up there. Okay, so there's the first piece. Now here is the next piece. Let's see what it's like without the glue first. Right there. And it's about like an inch. And there's actually still some glue from when I first did it, but I'll put a little bit more. Now, Sarah does have all of her own videos as well. So, and if you like to listen to people with an English accent, then you'll be charmed by her. She has a beautiful lilt to her voice, and she's really fun to listen to and watch. So definitely give her a try. Same thing here, about an inch. Now, I'm not making a big deal of this because I am actually going to turn it around and put some tape just to shore it up. Now, normally when I would do one of her oversized signs, I would often cut out the background in craft board because it gives it some heft. But I decided not to do that for this one, and instead I followed her directions, which is I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to get some tape, and this happens to be the only tape I have right now. I think she used cello tape, but this is the back, so you don't have to worry about anything. I remember seeing something, I think it was Rita, but I don't know. But the other day, someone asking about mystery boxes, and I wanted to recommend my friend Carol. It's Carol with an E on the end. Carol's Cricut Crafts, I think. She has a Facebook group. She's an old dear friend of mine, and she is still like part of the Cricut system. And I know, you know, somebody also recommended Holly and Alex, which that's fine too. But I just always want to, for the underdog, and not that Carol's an underdog, but I just thought I'd mention it. If you don't know Carol, she has very thoughtfully designed projects. She doesn't come out with a lot for like all at once, but she does follow all the updates and everything and gives you quite good information. So there's me putting on, this is masking tape. I see someone's asking about the glue I'm working with. This is what I'm working with today. And the reason why I'm reminded of Carol is because I know she uses this glue. This is Tombow Mono Aqua liquid glue. It has a broad tip, it has a fine tip, and it dries clear. Is it better than, or you know, it's just a preference. So this is one that I really do like, and it's readily available, this stuff, whereas some of the other glues, maybe you won't be able to find them in the craft store. You have to go online. But this is always carried by Michaels. Okay. I love accents too, Gail. Okay, so now we have these two pieces, and you'll see that they match up to right here. So we're going to go ahead and glue those. All right. And just get this started on this edge. So anyway, if you wanted to, you could actually move this all together and make it one 12 by 24 inch piece. And then you really don't have to worry about the joins. Or you could also cut out these as is and maybe use craft board behind it if you really want a sturdy sign. But I'll be honest with you, once everything gets on the sign, it's pretty sturdy, you know, and so maybe that might be a little bit of, you know, extra caution there. So there we go. This one goes here, and this one does also overlap. You see, there's an overlap here, but that's okay. We will work with it. Okay. Now, I have to tell you, so maybe you had the same experience. So I'll tell you, when I first cut this out, I was like, holy cow, where am I going to find all these yellows and oranges? And I mean, I have a big paper collection, so it looked like, wow, overwhelming. So feel free to make substitutions if you just don't have all these different versions of yellow, because I ended up using this version of yellow here. And it wasn't the paper. I think this was Love Nicole paper, and I didn't like the way this particular cut came out. So the rest of the stuff, aside from that yellow, is either Cricut cardstock, old Cricut cardstock from, you know, when they had all those colors. I think some of these colors are actually from the autumn collection that they used to sell, that set. They had like a Christmas, autumn. I don't know what else they had. I think maybe they only had Christmas and autumn. I don't know. But I ended up using that, and then I ended up going into my sampler packs, looking for the right, colors and stuff. But seriously, you make it your own. If you don't have like a bazillion different yellows, then try cream. Try try a tan, something like that. So if you're stuck with not having enough, then you can certainly experiment. And she, because she's in the UK, she used A4 paper. I think it's A4 paper. It might even be a little bit smaller than A4 paper, which is a different size than what we're accustomed to. But she designed this so that if you wanted to use 8.5 by 11-inch paper, you certainly could do that. And so if you want to use Michael's Recollections 8.5 by 11, if you're in the US, or even in Park Lane from Joann's, that might work for you. I ended up using 12 by 12 here because I didn't see as many yellows, believe it or not, in my 8.5 by 11-inch pile. So this is just like sort of a frame around here. Now this sign does not, even though it shows it this way, it does not include your autumn blessings or whatever it is you want to put on here. So I'm going to go back up after I put this piece on so I can allow this to sort of dry a little bit. And I'm going to go back up and tell you a little bit about, show you a little bit about what you want to put for your blessing or whatever you want to say, autumn blessings or whatever. And so this, I hid this, but I'm going to have it come back. Let's see. Group. Okay. So once I sort of did this piece, I'm just going to group it so you just know. Okay. So I wanted to, first of all, I isolated all of these flowers. And let me just go back and show you what I mean by that. Where's the other one? Oh, I must have deleted it. Sorry, I deleted it. But okay, so when I ungroup this group, you'll notice that ungroup. Okay, come on, you guys. Don't be like that. Group, ungroup. Okay, so you notice that I've isolated each of those flowers separately so that it makes it easier. But then I also have this autumn blessings. So what I decided to do, she cut hers out in paper, but I decided, hey, I'm a modern Cricut user. I'm going to cut mine out of vinyl. And so I did. So what I did was I just went to text. And I typed in, let me just bring this over. I typed in autumn blessings. All right. Now, the font that I used on this is called DTC October Daylight. This is regular style. So it's DTC October Daylight. And here it is. It's part of the Access font. And it's single layer and it's writing. I put too many S's because I want to be super blessed. I want to be super blessed, Loretta. So it's called DTC Autumn Blessings. And you're right, man. I did not see that. Oh gee, well I cut it out. So let's change it up. All right. So it comes in like kind of small for the sign. So what I did was I did lock it and then I sort of kind of stretched it. Let's get rid of this one with the extra S. All right. And I stretched it to fit on my sign. And there you go. That looks like it's going to fit. Maybe make it a tad smaller. All right. And the other thing I want to do here is, I don't know if you can see this, but the letters aren't quite connected. You see here, the letters are not quite connected, and we can't, you know, if you cut it that way, that's the way the machine is going to interpret it. It's going to actually cut lines right here. We don't want that. Okay, so what we want to do is go over, once we're okay with this, with the signage, and I'm going to get rid of my triple S one, and then okay with the signage, we're going to go over here to weld. Okay, so we're going to go to combine, and then we choose weld. Now what that does is it puts them all together, it welds them together, and so now they will print out or cut out exactly as like one, actually two different pieces. Okay, so since I messed up the autumn blessings, I guess I'll show you how I cut it out of vinyl now. So I'm going to just hide all these other pieces for right now because we don't need them. Again, group. This is how I work with big files. I always remember what they said, how do you eat an elephant, you know, one bite at a time. So I try to break down my projects into smaller bits and then work with them. Okay, so this is what we're going to cut out now. And we're gonna just hit make it. Now I'm gonna use my Maker 3, which allows for me to use, if I can find it, hold on. It allows me to use, is this smart vinyl? Yeah, I'm going to use this black smart vinyl. Okay, so when I hit make it, because I am working with a Maker 3, which is the only one, you know, not the only one, but it's the one of the Maker that you can use smart materials on. So I'm going to choose without matte. Okay, and confirm, and you can see autumn blessings. Now, since I'm going to have all this wasted, what I normally would do is I would actually cut out 3 or maybe 4 would fit. Yeah, it would fit. And the reason why I'm doing this is mostly not because it's actually not to waste things. So I might find a use for that extra. If you want to do this differently than I do, that's fine. But for me, what would end up happening is I cut this out and this all would be scrap. And so I figure might as well have a cutout, and I give it to my friend Christine, and she can find a use for those extra things. In addition, if I accidentally mess up one of the sayings, I can use the next one. So it's just me, because I'm kind of a goober. I'm back to using goober again. Because I'm kind of a goober, I do it that way. You may not do it the same way as me. So here you go. I'm going to choose, you can't see me, but I'm choosing smart vinyl. And then I'm going to take and put my smart vinyl into my Maker 3. Smart vinyl also works on your Joy. It also works on Explore 3. Okay. So let's get this cut out. Go. Okay, while it's cutting out, it is possible, probable, I'm not really sure. It might be a little bit bigger than what I need, and so I could try to rotate, and if it is a little bit bigger, I can go back and change it so that it will fit across instead of vertical. It will fit horizontal. It's a possibility. Yeah, and Gloria, you're right, you know. Iron-On works great for this kind of application. You guys have seen me do it as well, working with Iron-On. And in that case, if you're going to use Iron-On, please make sure that you mirror your saying. Because if you don't mirror it and you try to use the Iron-On, it will be forever mirrored, right? And we don't want that. So while we're waiting for that to happen, let's come down here and let's have a look. All right. So here's my, and I'm kind of running out of space over here, so I'm going to move this. All right. This is a big sign. There is also the option, if you wanted to make this smaller, I suppose. So if you're not really into the giantness, but it looks really good completed and on your door. So again, here is the assembly guide. So you'll see here, this is what we've already done. All right. And she shows that we put these together. So the next step is to find these little individual pieces and put them on our sign. And then she goes through and she isolates each flower. So in this case, it's for this flower at the top left. And then this one is right next to it, and she sort of goes through it. And I've been using this as a guide because it shows you what you want to glue and what you want to use foam for. You don't want to use foam for everything because it would be way too like thick. Kind of like yesterday when we did the shadow box, I ended up doing like the front layers and the very back layers in glue because it was starting to get really, really thick from the foam. So that's something you want to take into account. So here is mine, and I guess we're still waiting for this to finish to cut. Oh, there it is. It's done. So let's go ahead and take this out. And I'm just going to cut it right off. Okay. Try to get stuff out of my way. And you'll see I have, well, you might not be able to see, but there are my 4 autumn blessings. So what I'm going to do, spelled correctly, by the way, and thanks to my friend Loretta. So I'm just going to cut off one of them. Might as well do this part now before we start doing the flower bit. Okay, so we need a weeding tool. And I'm just going to weed this off. Don't be afraid to use your vinyl or iron-on paper projects. I know a lot of people, it never occurs to them, but it's great. It works great that way. And if you have like leftover from mystery boxes or something like that, then there you go. I don't know if there was an eye, like a dot for the eye. I'm gonna go back and check. Let's go back and check. Okay, but that's it. Where's my other piece? Well, we'll just pretend that, let's just pretend it didn't have one. Okay, so next up is our transfer tape. Have you guys seen this transfer tape? It is new. It's from Cricut. It is basically backless or borderless or whatever you want to call it, transfer tape. So essentially it's just the tape. You see that? So I'm going to see if this will go right on there. Yep, it does. And then I don't have the waste of the background, although it's super sturdy here. So let me grab my little knife. I'm going to cut this off, hopefully in a straight line. Come on now. Okay, there we go. And that is I don't know what they call this, backless transfer tape, but you can use regular transfer tape, but they happen to send that to me, and so I thought I'd try it out, show you guys. And then I'm going to burnish this like this really hard because I have a wrinkle here, but I'm still going to do it. All right, and once I have that all going for me, I'm going to bring back my sign and eyeball where I'm going to do the placement. All right, so there, I think it's going to go right here. I think that will look good. And we can try doing something that other people do. It's called like a hinge method. And we can just go ahead and start it right here, and you see I lifted up. This is the background, or the, you know, backing for the actual vinyl that we cut. And let's hope it fits. Ah, yay, it fits. Don't press down too hard, because remember, you got paper on the bottom. You don't want this to stick, but then you're going to just kind of roll this away from, whoops, roll it away from the vinyl and the background. Do this kind of sort of gently, because sometimes, depending on the paper you use, if you are doing the vinyl part, it can cause that paper to sort of like shed the top layer, and we don't want that, but it sometimes can happen. I'm just gonna, it's been a while since I worked with transfer tape. All right, so here we go. All right, and I'm not even in the picture, I'm sorry. Brought it too close to me. I like to work right up close to my project. And I think this looks fabulous in black. I was actually thinking about, like, I originally cut it out in yellow, and I'm like, that might be yellow overkill. All right, so there is our base, okay? And then before we put it aside, we're gonna look for these two little pieces of like wheat, okay? Now I have already gone ahead and separated out my flowers, right? So I'm looking for my wheat, and I think it's up here. Yes, it is. So these are my two pieces of wheat. Autumn bless, 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 blessings. Autumn blessings. Okay, so this one is going to go here. All right, and this one goes, let's check our sign. This one goes right here. You see how that little thing is hanging out there? And she's suggesting that you use foam on these two pieces. So yesterday we had a lot of foam, so I'll use these foam things we had yesterday. Okay. And this is kind of thin, so I'm going to try my best. You don't want the foam to stick out from the back. It kind of looks crappy, so do be careful. And if you have to cut your little bits of foam, like if I were going to put one right up here, which I'm not actually, but I would cut my bits of foam, and then we take off the backing. Okay, and this goes right here. And then this one, I know from looking at the picture, goes here where these three, almost these three dots are. So I'm going to turn that around. Speaking of three dots, last night I started watching this program called The After Party on Apple TV, and I was really laughing because it was kind of like musical, and it was just kind of, it was sort of a comedy, but it was a what do you call it, like a crime, like a true crime type of thing, you know what I mean? And it was just funny. It was like an ensemble cast, really interesting. And if you have Apple TV, I would definitely recommend it. Apple TV actually is now releasing the second volume, or the second season, but I was watching the first season, and it was just really good. I enjoyed it. And there were a couple of like celebrity people showed up and everything. It was just kind of fun. I actually laughed. Yesterday was such a good day for me after having known that that I had, my blood pressure was too low after years of having too high blood pressure. So I stopped taking my blood pressure, and I talked to a lot of doctors yesterday. So I spent most of my day talking to doctors after playing with you guys. All right, so this is the base. I'm going to put it aside now. because now we're going to look at the individual flowers. Again, we're eating an elephant and we're just doing it one bite at a time. So the first on this assembly is this actual one right here. And so before I came on, I did actually put these together in sort of loose groups so you can see what I was doing. So I need to find this piece, this piece here. I'm just going to show you. This is my starting off piece, okay? You notice how it does match this. However, look here. I did, this is that paper I said I didn't really like, and it didn't cut out here. So I just sort of trimmed it up, gave it a little surgery. And then here on the list, it's looking for the light green. So here's the light green, and I'm just like basically making like a big sandwich, okay? And then here's the dark green. Hey, you guys. Hey, stop, please. All right, and here is number 4. You know, guys, I pray that you would not, I really sincerely pray that you would not bark during my class today. So this is number 4, and this is number 5, and then I've got 6, 7, 8. All right, so I have all my pieces. Do that first. Set out all your pieces first, and then move the other pieces so they don't distract you over, like I'm doing over here. And now I'm going to put this together based on the assembly. So you'll see here on her assembly, she's got this piece, which has no glue on it yet. And then she wants you to glue 2 to 1, okay? Then she wants also to use glue for the third piece. And then we're going to go to foam, glue, foam, 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 okay? So let's start off doing that. I'm going to turn this over. This is our base piece, and this is our number 2 piece. So we're going to get some glue. We're going to glue these up. Once you start thinking in terms of like steps or I don't know, like, yeah, steps, I guess, this all becomes super easy. And I really do appreciate that she put this down in terms of having this assembly guide, because if I didn't have the assembly guide, I'd probably be like, nah, I don't want to do this. It was too confusing for me. So so I was really grateful for that. Okay, so there's our number 2 piece going on with glue. All right, and then we look here, we've got our dark green. That's also going to go on with glue. It's going to go right here. You see now it's creating those layers, which is really cool. And yep, here we go. Now, I talk a lot, and so this is the time where I talk because I'm just doing sort of the busy work, and I'm just assuming you guys are just talking either amongst yourselves on the chat, or you can just watch me. I'm not going to say anything important. I probably just tell you a little bit about my day yesterday, but I do talk, so if you don't like the talking, then turn the volume off. Because, oops, did I do this right? Well, let's see. I didn't do it right, Rita. Make sure am I doing this right? Okay, yeah, there we go. I like working with liquid glue because it gives you a little bit, just a tiny amount of time to sort of get it all together. So there's our third one. Now comes the fourth one, which on this we need to use foam. Okay, so here's our foam. You can use foam dots. You can use the squares. In fact, I don't know why I'm using these ones, but let's finish up these ones here. All right. I always have like a number of these, like half half-used one. So we're just putting these foam dots, very similar to yesterday. We're putting the foam dots. We do not want them. We want to sort of spread them out because we want to be able to, we don't want one side to be like sort of lopsided. So spread them out. Let's put this last one on. All right. And then using either your fingers, or for me, I use this, my weeding tool, take off the backing here and proceed to the next one and keep doing and doing and doing. So yeah, yesterday was a really eventful day for the Cavicchio household. I talked to Owen's doctors, and he's you know, he had a really hard time in the spring, and they did put him on some medication, and we've been kind of going back and forth on what's the right medication. Now he's turning 18. I told you yesterday, I'm like so afraid that he's just gonna go, yeah, I don't want to go to school anymore. But I asked him yesterday point blank, I'm like, please, Owen, tell me, are you going to continue school and everything? And he said, oh yeah, I'm gonna go. And now he's actually found, I knew he needed to just sit on it for a little while, because that's how we all are in this family. I just want to see where this one's gonna go. Where is it gonna go? This way? This way? I think it's gonna go here. Oh no. Here. It's going to go here. All right. So we're going to just put that on there. So there's our number 4. And then the next one we're going to glue. All right. And so he also said that he was very interested in taking the, what's it called? I think they call it CTE, but recently, and I live in a very, very progressive state, and they tax everything, but they do use the money for, it's sometimes people will call it Taxachusetts, because it's so, you know, there's a lot of fees and taxes. And so recently they came up with this they revamped something called the Child Behavioral Health Initiative, and then they also, which is for mental health, right? And then they also came up with this new project where they're working with the schools that are like trade schools. And here we go. And offering free after like night classes. So Owen didn't train for anything, right? He did not train to be a plumber or whatever. So now he's facing the end of school. Just want to make sure I do this right. This one here is going to have foam on it. I just want to make sure I find the proper place. There, it's going to go there, okay? So he didn't have any training because he didn't know what he wanted to do, because he could have had training, but he didn't know what he wants to do. So now he has decided that he wants to become an electrician. And I think that's perfect for him, because a lot of it is sort of single, I don't know, like solitary work. And then I found out, by the way, guys, I'm stuttering a little bit lately, and I think it has to do with some of my medication. I apologize. But anyway, so then I found out that the state is offering this journeyman's license, which is like the big, you know, how to get to your license for electric. For free, basically for free. He doesn't pay for anything. He just has to attend and go into the classes and learn. And they do it in like semesters. So I'm hoping to get him into this program because the trades are just not well represented right now. And he does not like to sit and just kind of listen to a lecture. So this is going to be perfect for him. All right, there's our foam piece. Now we got this one. That's going to be foam. And then the final piece of this one's going to be foam. It says foam. Okay, we'll do foam. So yesterday he kind of like, it's his first actual like come out and vocalize that yes, indeed, he does want to go to school after school. Like he was just like dead set. I don't want to go any more school. I don't like school. Um, and then he just basically said, yeah, I'll do that, you know. And he's also went to work with Santo. And here's the thing. So Santo has people that work with him, and like they're from different parts of the country or different countries, and they all speak Spanish. And Santo is a dual, you know, he's bilingual, and so he very easily slips into English Spanish, right? Well, he left Owen at the job site, you know, because he had to go to a different job site. And he said, "You're in charge of these people." And he goes, "Oh, great. I'm in charge of a bunch of people that can't understand me and I can't understand them." And I said, "No, no, you can like use." First of all, learn a few basic things like yes, no, and maybe, and let's ask Santo, that sort of thing. Or, you know, I don't know, things like that, because that's how I get along when I first start a language is I learn those things that say basically, hey, you know what, I don't know what I'm doing here. So he put him in charge of the work crew. Let's see, do we want this like this? This, okay. And he's happy. He's happy because Owen Sancho buys his lunch, and buys his lunch and even breakfast sometimes. And so they went off together this morning at like 7 o'clock, and he won't be home until late. I know. All right, so there's our first one. Isn't that great? We did the first one. Yay! Give ourselves some credit. All right, and then next up, we're going to turn the page, and we are going to do the second one. So this one's going to go on the left side. I don't know if we should do it as we're going along. Nah, that's all right. So now we have to look for this second one. This actually has a pumpkin and a sunflower on the top. So let's see what we got. I don't want to get this messed up. So I think this is it, but let's have a look. It has a pumpkin and a sunflower. All right, so according to this assembly, we need this piece. Yep, that's correct. And then we have this piece. This one. This one didn't cut out too great. Okay, and then we've got the pumpkin, which is this, and this little piece. And then the sunflower, this, and this. And we're going to go out and do this again. All right, so I'm just checking the notes. So we're going to do the same thing we did with the first piece. So this video might run a little bit long. If you get the hang of it and you have to run, it's basically the same. And then once we create all of these little, I suppose, these little treatments, then we're going to put them on our sign and be done. So, you know, I don't have the opportunity to sort of fast forward, and I have to kind of work at my own pace. So if you can stay with me, please do. And if not, I can see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to, this is going to be glued. Tomorrow we are doing a freebie, as I mentioned, from Bird's Cards. And I was just looking through all of her freebies, and I thought I saw a really cute easel card that I thought, yeah, I'd like to do it. And it's a Halloween easel card. And so we're going to do that tomorrow, I think. And I don't think that it can be done on the Joy, but don't worry. I'm not focusing on you guys because we're having a whole week of Joy. Wouldn't it be nice to have a whole week of Joy? I think so. I love that little Joy. So we're going to have a whole week of Joy. And we'll just go ahead and do that, and that will include Monday through Friday classes. So next week I mentioned that we're going to do, because we were talking about cookies, and I remember telling myself, like at Christmas, Rita, you should have made your cookie boxes ahead of time, because in the end it was hard to find something to put them in, and I had only one size box that I had made, and it was huge. So it was like big enough to store at least 2 dozen cookies, and I just wanted to give out like a dozen at a time. So I'm going to show you a couple of different uh, cookie or treat holders. I don't know if you're like the kind of person that makes fudge every year, or cookies. I have special cookies that I make every year, and actually have a little following. People are like, "Oh, you're gonna make those cookies this year?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to." And I start early and everything. But then, like, what happens is I start early, make all of my cookie dough, and then I store it in the fridge. I don't actually, once I make the dough, I don't actually um, start cooking the cookies. I put them all in the fridge, and then I decide I'm going to just make, okay, I'm just going to make the chocolate crinkles today. And so we do the chocolate crinkles, and then we'll do the gingerbread, and then, the next time. So I'm not like overwhelmed, because I could get overwhelmed very easily. And those are my little tips for them. So make enough containers for my cookies. I had this right the first time. I thought it was, yeah, there it is. Okay. All right, and this little tiny piece. Now, if I'm watching these little pieces and I'm looking at them, this one she wants me to put a foam dot under here. See that? So there's for the foam. Where's my foam? Foam, take me away. So next week's containers, and then the week after that is joy, all joy. So let's have a look at the calendar. I don't know, we're in the first full week in August. So next week's, which starts on the 14th, will be container week. And then, and you know what I mean about containers. So it could be a bag, it could be a little treat box, it could be an actual cookie box. I'm going to show you my favorite cookie box from SVG Cuts. And so there is my pumpkin. And I guess I'm going to foam it on here. Yeah, I guess I am. So let's go ahead and put some foam dots on here. And then, so the week after that, the week of the 21st is going to be joy, our joy week. And then I mentioned the other day about friends, and I thought I'm going to pepper those in. I don't want to do a whole week just of friends, because it's going to take for some of the people that are going to visit me, some getting used to being on camera. And that will also give me I can coach them and stuff like that. So I'm going to do one friend video a week, and we'll just have fun. So then if you decide like, oh, I couldn't be possibly on video, and there's some people that are like that, you can say, oh, once you get used to it and see your friends doing it, then hopefully you'll also do it as well. So so that we can all see each other's lovely faces. And then we're going to also be doing a Zoom class for I think it's called Mother Bates, the Mother Bates Dreaming Tree file. It's a huge file, and we're going to do that as a Zoom. I'm not sure if it's going to get broadcast. I think it probably will. Because it's not just us hanging around just chit-chatting. It's an actual project, but it's an enormous haunted house that could also be done up as a Christmas house. So what I would like to do is find out who wants to do it in the haunted house and who wants to do it in the Christmas house. I think I prefer Christmas, so I'm looking for somebody that wants to do the haunted house with me, and then you can come on the Zoom. There's no cost or anything. Gosh darn it. I don't like it when people, when they charge money sometimes, you know, and they kind of trick you. They're like, oh, this is free. It's totally free. Oh, by the way, if you want, you can buy this ticket and then you'll have it forever. I'm like, nah, I don't know. It's just not my thing. I just think, you know, we got to give away. We got to give things away. Our gift. That's my gift. You know, that's my gift to you guys, is my knowledge. And does it pay me directly? No, it doesn't. But that's okay. That's okay. Anyway, so sorry. I was thinking this morning, I'm like, don't say negative things about anybody, and I try not to mention too many names. So, but you know, we have these thoughts. I have these thoughts, and you know, like, gee, why would someone charge $15 or $50 to do this? And boy, she must be raking in a awful lot of money, and must be nice. And then I think, you know what? I have to be grateful for me and what I have. I've been blessed, you know, with having a roof over my head and being able to feed myself and my family, even though I haven't had a traditional job since 2005. I'm still every day able to get up and you know, take care of myself and my family. And you know, there's only so much money. It's like, yeah, it'd be great to have money, but it's like, what am I going to do with it all? Like, I don't know. I just, when I got to a certain point, it's like, you need a certain minimum amount to survive. That's for sure. And a lot of people are not making even that minimum amount. And I feel very sorry. So like someone who has a full-time, even a full-time job at like a drive-through or whatever, fast food, they can't support themselves on that salary, so they end up getting, you know, more jobs. And I just think that's terrible. But once you get to a certain point, you know, it becomes like, all I need is enough money to pay for the roof over my head and some food and maybe a few, you know, fun things, like, you know, so that you get everything you need and maybe a little of what you want. And that's kind of, for me, the secret of my, you know, sort of motivation. So, and this is all based on, for me, it's all based on this Japanese, you know, I love that Japanese, they have the best, like, thought process. So the Japanese have something called, I think it's Kiragu. I'll have to look it up and post something for you. But anyway, it's about finding your passion and combining it with your needs to find that sweet spot. So this I see all the time, like somebody's an artist, but they have to go to work. My friend Wendy, she works full time, so she could have her store. And, you know, she works full time in a job that she's, you know, she's okay with. It's not really inspiring, but she does it because she wants to have a shop downtown. And so she's been doing it. And maybe someday she won't need to have that job, but, you know, she has to serve her, like, what is her purpose with her desires or passion, purpose and passion, I guess. So here I am. I told you guys we were going to talk. All right, so we got almost the second one done, and I'm going to put glue here. All right, we are cooking with gas right now. All right, so there's our second piece. There's our first piece. There's our second piece. Let's put those aside. Okay, so that we'll go back to our assembly thing. We just did page 4. Now let's go and do page 5. All right, so page 5 is like one giant flower, which I think is under here. There's 5 different groups here. All right, so that I think this is This is the one I need. Sorry, it's not neater. I love it when people have this enormous amount of space. I look at when they start showing them cutting from like from a table. I'm like, whoa. I always have it at my desk because you have to attend to the machine, but I guess people don't do it that way. Anyway, so this is our next piece. So let's have a look and see we got all the pieces that we need. So there is. This doesn't look right. This is one. Okay, yeah, this is 1, 2, 3. Actually, my physical therapist is going to come at 10:30-ish. So I got to get this finished. 4, 6, 7. So this is the next one. And we're going to glue, foam, foam. All right, so we're going to take this piece. If he comes in, we'll just say, I'll say hi to him. His name is Tom. He's a friend of mine. He actually is part of the city council. He's a counselor at large. The nicest guy. And he's been so helpful to me because he also works as physical therapy at MGH. And I've known him since pre-pandemic. So he's real nice. And he's the one that figured out, hey, you know what? You got to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure, about your, everything. I would have just kept going along saying, oh, gee, I'm so tired all the time. Why am I so tired? I feel like I'm getting old. And is this the cancer? And, having all those questions. And it turns out it's not the cancer. I mean, it turns out that the cancer, I'm being treated for the cancer, but my body is my body. And, oncologists, I think maybe expect me to go to my GP, and then you go to an orthopedic surgeon. So I kind of want to have a team. I look at it as that's my team of doctors, but I want somebody to take the lead. And so far, nobody has. So that's what's going to happen this afternoon. I'm going to ask my GP if she can help me because she's just so fantastic. So fantastic. So, all right. So we're following along. You see, blank, glue, foam. We're on that foam stage. Oh, is Teresa on? Teresa on today? Who's on? I saw somebody. Is Teresa Rivard on today? Oh, you are. Hard to find a good butter tart. I don't even know what a butter tart is. I don't even know. What is it? Is it like a little pie? A handheld pie? Don't know. Okay, and Tara's leaving. Bye, Tara. Hi, Teresa. And, yep, I was thinking about you, Teresa. I got something I'm going to mail to you, okay? And I see that Loretta had to go. She probably had to do her volunteer job. And Loretta is going to, I'm going to be sending something to her. But so far, I'm really kind of liking not being like a brand ambassador to somebody, a big company. Like, I thought about, well, maybe I'll go over to Silhouette and that sort of thing. But I just thought about it and I'm like, you know what? You got so much on your plate. Just go ahead and do you. And when this passes, because this too shall pass, when this passes, then I can be ready for my, I guess it would be my third act. So, and I talked to Owen about that yesterday too, because, living here, it's very expensive. And I've often wondered, I could probably get a lot of money and sort of reverse it so that I don't have to pay a mortgage. And I was trying to explain to Owen yesterday about mortgages, and he was like looking at me like, yeah, Mom, I have no idea what you're talking about. So that was that. But it's gotten so crowded here. In the on the North Shore, everybody wants to move up here. I've been up here most all of my life, and it's like October comes and it's crazy. Everybody wants to see the leaves. Everyone wants to go visit the witches or the pirates or whatever. It's sort of like Cape Cod is in the summer. Like all these people come and they have a whole list of things on their agenda, and then you end up being a person that lives here. You're like, what's going on? I mean, I literally like hardly ever leave my house on the weekend in October because it's just too much. Where have I been? I don't know what butter tarts are. It's a small pie crust with a filling made of brown sugar, eggs, raisins, and nuts. I will now that I know. It's just like a little pie crust, huh? And it's like a little tiny, I know it just sounds like such a cute thing, a butter tart. It almost sounds a little bit like a custard, but she didn't say there were eggs in it. So, we're getting to the end, you guys. Don't worry. Phew. So, before you used to take on this kind of a job, before you take on a very large job, you got to study the materials. You got to look at all the pieces. Do you have the right paper? Because you don't want to get stuck going, yeah, I want to do this. And sometimes you pay for those files, and then you turn around and you're like, I don't have the right supplies for this or whatever. So I like to study things ahead of time, and which is why I did this. Was this supposed to go this way? Yeah, it was. All right, Rita. There's my second mistake today. Okay, and then we put this on and this on. All right. Come on. So, yeah. Now last weekend, my sister came to my house and cleaned it so thoroughly, better than if a home cleaner came in. I don't know, she was just like a Tasmanian devil going around, and she was like, oh yeah, she cleaned up my fridge. She's just such a blessing to me, and I'm just like, what do I do to give her like a reward? Because she doesn't want to take anything. She's just like my dad. No. I don't need anything. I want to do this, and I'm like, I really appreciate it. And so she just comes in, and she heard about my red blood count, and she's like, I'll make a roast and mashed potatoes, because she knows that potatoes have iron in them too. So I had a beautiful roast beef dinner yesterday, courtesy of we all had it, and it was just scrumptious. She takes this roast and she turns her oven on, and she treats the roast, but she gets her Dutch oven in the oven, turns the oven on, gets it super, super hot, then puts the roast in and turns off the heat, and you leave it, don't go in there and touch it, and just from the heat that you create at the beginning, it makes this most terrific roast, perfectly done, and it's just amazing. Such little work to it, except just don't touch it, and She's made it for me before. She also has become the only one in my family that makes meatballs because her meatballs are so superior to mine. So superior. And so she'll say, "You want to make a sauce?" And in my family, we don't call it gravy, we call it sauce. And I'm like, "Yes, a sauce?" And she usually does one for me like maybe once every other month. And it's just, oh, so yummy. Look, there's our third piece down. So I'm going to, instead of doing that fourth and fifth piece, I'm going to just show you, in case you got to scoot, how it's going to look. So this was my first setup here. And so this is the one we did with the regular blessings with 2 S's in it. And we're going to look at this picture, you see, and then this piece is going to go here. This piece is coming down here, you see. And which way does this go? This way. This one goes this way. And where's the third one we did? Right here. And that's going this way. I'm using this like part here to show you that it's going that way. All right, so that's going to go there, and then we just have to finish up. And I'm going to foam put these in. I don't know if it says it. Be careful not to place foam or glue anywhere that won't be covered by the flowers. Here's what it'll look like when stuck onto the sign. Okay, so she's saying use a combination of foam and glue to make it level, because you see that this is pretty high. I might glue this one on, you see, but this one I would maybe put the foam dots on. So, oh, and there's my friend. Okay, you guys, I will have to finish this up later, but hi, Tom.
Hello.
Tom. There's my friend. My physical therapist is here, and as I told you, he was coming at 10:30, so we didn't finish up our project in time. I went over, but
Actually,
you guys,
I'm early.
You're early too. All right. Okay. So anyway, guys, I think this was a worthy project. I don't know how you feel about it. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort. And if you're one of those, I just want to make something really quick, Rita, then this is not the project for you. So go back and look at Craft with Sarah and look at her other free things. Some of the others have less pieces, moving pieces. All right. So I'll finish this up. I'll take a picture of it and I'll try to post it somewhere. And then I will also post for tomorrow. We're going to post our project, which is going to be from Birds Cards, BIRDSCARDS.com. All right. Have a great day. Thank you. He's really super. He's really super. Great guy, and also knows his crap, you know. All right. We'll see you guys. Thank you, Gail. All right. And we'll see you again tomorrow, and we'll have another fun day of freebies. Take care. Bye.